Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We're gonna have a tasty, tasty pale ale today,
That's
or
what I
an IPA,
understand.
I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Now this is a look at the head on that.
Woohoo! How often have I said that?
Cheers.
Cheers.
You want to taste before we talk?
Yeah. That's good beer.
That's pretty tasty.
That's good beer.
That's a tasty one.
That's what you want to make.
This is based on one of my favorite beers nowadays, and that's a Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
Mm-hmm.
I got this recipe from the American Homebrewers Association website. If you go in there, if you're a member, you can find the recipes and search for Two-Hearted Ale, and you'll find a recipe that was put on there by David Curtis of. Do you need a moment?
I did. That's good.
David Curtis of, he runs the Bell's General Store, which is a homebrew store up there connected to Bell's Brewery. I feel guilty talking about another homebrew store in the presence of Steve of Steve's Brew Shop. But
well, we did have this discussion because it is kind of weird. But were they at Michigan?
they're in
It's
Kalamazoo.
like we're not competing against each other. That's silly.
Well, here's the deal.
If they were in Prairie Grove, we'd have a problem. But
Well, here's the deal. David emailed me a while back and said, we've started, Bell's buys more Centennial hops than anybody else in the world.
wow.
Because they make Two-Hearted Ale and they make a lot of it. So they have these they get the pick of the crop of these Centennials. And so David's been siphoning some of those off for his homebrew store. And so he sells now these select Centennial hops. And so he sent me some. And I shared them with you as well for your own methods. Well, you will want to. You will after this. Anyway, so I said, what better recipe to use it in than a Bell's Two-Hearted clone? So I modified this a little bit. I piddled with the recipe just a little bit, as I often do.
Our Shih Tzu piddles with the recipe sometimes. You have to put him out quickly.
He's been piddling.
He's been piddling.
All right. So here we go. It's a 5-gallon batch. 10 pounds or 4.5 kilograms of two-row. 3 pounds or 1.4 kilograms of pale malt. 8 ounces or 227 grams of 40 Lovibond Crystal. Or Breeze, what is it, Caramel 40? I rested at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 C for an hour. I added into the boil 4 grams of gypsum, which I don't usually mess with my water chemistry, but I did this time.
Helps make the hops pop.
Hops pop.
Hops pop.
And then it's a 60-minute boil, but the last 45 minutes of the boil, I added 1.5 ounces or 42.5 grams of Bell's Centennial Select hops. 30 minutes before the end of the boil, 1.5 ounces or 42.5 grams of the same thing. And then pitched Imperial A07 flagship. And then 5 days after fermentation started, I dry hopped in the fermenter with 5 ounces or 142 grams of this Centennial hops. It started off at 1062, final gravity 1008 for an ABV of 7.2%. So the Bell's hops with that Imperial flagship yeast, what do you think? This is off the keg.
It's delicious, and I've had a fair amount of Bell's Two-Hearted Ale myself over the years. This is a very close to it, in my opinion.
Well, thank you very much.
Particularly the way that you got the hops played in here. It's the head is resinous. How often have I said that? No, it does. It's sticky almost.
Well, the bitterness comes to the top in the foam.
Big time.
The recipe calls for like 1.2 ounces in those 2 additions. I bumped it up to 1.5 ounces, and then it says use 3 ounces in the dry hop. And I had 5 ounces left in that 8-ounce bag that I had, so I said I'm not going to save these, so I just put them all in.
Put them all in. Well, the hops come through like crazy, and they're really good. It's not too. It's the right bitterness. I mean, it's not too bitter. But boy, it's got a big hop flavor and hop aroma. And then the grain palate is really nice too. I mean, I just don't know what else to say about it. It's just a really well made beer. Good job.
Well, thank you.
Good recipe. Good ingredients to work with.
Yeah, I got the grain
Some
from you,
Bell's,
by the way.
Some from me.
Most of the beer came from Steve's Brew Shop.
But it is true. If you have decent ingredients, you have good ingredients, and reasonable care, you're going to get a good beer. And this is a very good beer.
Nice fresh grain from Steve's Brew Shop. And thanks to David Curtis up at Bell's for sending the hops. They are delicious.
I got to say, it's nice to drink a beer that's a beer.
Not some crazy thing that there's no cereal.
There's no
in here.
Lucky Charms in here. There's no mango puree.
There's no pie filling.
This is a beer.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Cheers. I'm gonna brew this one again. It's super good, and I would love to play some more with gypsum, because I'm just wondering how much the gypsum makes gypsum. Tramps and Thieves.
I used to play with gypsum. They weren't bad. Kind of an 80s cover band.
I'm sure that gypsum, we've done some experimentation with gypsum in the past, and it does make a difference in hop character. And I'm glad that I went to the trouble of adding in this.
It's terrific.
It's a really good beer. There you go.
That's it.
We're going to go drink the rest of this beer.
I got nothing left to say.
Except happy brewing. Cheers.
Cheers.
Come and visit us online. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs and our Brewer's Logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. If you're in Fayetteville, Arkansas, stop by Steve's Brew Shop or find him online at stevesbrewshop.com.
Like the Ed Wood of podcasting without the Angora fetish.